What's up, guys? I'm Newbie Dave. I'm sorry, I have not slept these past couple nights and I am really tired. I just can't sleep. I've been working all through the night, all through the day for a couple of days now and starting to hear things, see things. I just feel like I'm kind of losing my mind. Today, we're going to do something about that. Let's get started. So how's it going, guys? Hope y'all are having a great week. So today's episode, I am going to be trying to fill that last slot in my potion making vending machine. That's going to be really helpful when we go to fight the dragon, so that we can make potions of slow falling. And hey, I got one. Potions of slow falling are made from phantom membranes, which come from phantoms, which are kind of hard to grind because they only spawn under very specific conditions. So phantoms will only spawn at night, and specifically, they will only spawn after you've been awake for 3 or more days. So that's why I had that crazy intro, is because to me, phantoms are kind of like hallucinations that you see in the game from not sleeping for so long. The other thing that makes them hard to grind is you can see their tactics. They spawn well above you, they kind of circle around for a while, which makes them hard to hit with ranged weapons, and then they'll swoop down and hit you and swoop back up again. And so you've really got to time your attacks just right. If you miss, you've got to wait a while for them to come back, and it's just a big pain. So today's build is going to be a phantom trap that will make it very easy to farm these guys and make it very easy to dispatch them so that we can collect a lot of phantom membranes to put in our potion making machine over here so that we can make potions of slow falling. Now this build is going to require a new component that is critical to the build that we've never used before, and that is cats. Now, taming a cat can be a little bit challenging because, as you can see, before you tame them, they run away from you. They're kind of scared of you. And not because of what has happened to them, they're just... It has nothing to do with my setup here, I promise. Cats are just scared of you until you actually tame them. Now, fortunately, because our cats spawn in here because of the villagers above in the iron farm, it makes it a little bit easier because they'll just run away and get stuck in a corner. And so you feed the cat some raw fish until you get the little hearts. That means that they're tamed, and now this cat will follow me around and he won't run off anymore. So why is a cat critical to today's build? The reason is because phantoms are actually terrified of cats. They will fly away from you, they'll fly away from the cat if they get too close to the cat. And so we can use this to our advantage in our build by placing a cat at the very bottom, and that will ensure that phantoms never get so close to us that they can hurt us. And then when they try to, not in there, kitty, that's not where we're going. And then when the phantom tries to swoop off because they're running away from the cat, we can trap them in our build. So it's a very clever mechanic that we can use to our advantage here. So I've decided to build this phantom trap up here on top of this hill near my original crop farm. I thought it would be nice to build it up high because it's going to be kind of a tall build. I'm going for sort of a tower, like a bell tower type thing. And so I thought it would look nice if it was already up high. I don't know that we'll necessarily have a good view unless I get rid of some of these trees, but I think it'll look good over here. So first thing I need to do is get this cat into its new home. So I'm going to put a trap door down here like that and open it, and then try to lure the cat into this hole, because once the cat is in place, I don't want him ever moving. Having this cat in this one specific block is very important to this build working, so I don't want him to run off. I don't want to accidentally bump him or have another mob bump him and he slides over into the next block, and now the spacing of everything else is messed up. Alright, so that's where the cat's going to live for the rest of his life. He's a good kitty. Aren't you a good kitty? Yes, you are. Here's some extra fish. Okay, so The first thing I'm going to do before we actually get started on the build is measure up, because like I said, we need to be at a very specific height above the cat in order for this build to work, and I want to make sure we don't end up building it too high or too low. And so I'm going to start by placing some blocks directly over him, and I'm going to go up 14 blocks. There's 1, 2, okay, so there's 14. And then I'm just going to use some temporary blocks to kind of mark this height, because I don't want to build the top of this thing first. That would be kind of weird, and then having to go up and down again. But I do want to make sure that we know our target height that we're shooting for. So now I can just drop down. I built this tower out of gravel so that it'll just all break when it falls, because it's falling onto a trap door, which is not a solid block, and gravel and sand do that. Alright, so I don't know exactly what I want this to look like just yet. I kind of have an idea in mind. For my palette, I'm going to be using some stone bricks, some cobblestone, and spruce. And I do know I want it to have a 3x3 base at the top, and I think I want a wider base at the bottom. So I'm going to go, let's see, this would be 3x3, so I want the bottom to actually start here. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. I need to go one more so the inside, yeah. So it's actually going to be 7x7, so this is too close. Does that look right? I think, yeah. So I want the inside to be 5x5, which means that the outside needs to be 7x7. So we'll do spruce door there, put a couple more blocks around this. And I'm going to mix in some cracked stone bricks and some mossy stone bricks. Alright, so here's where things are going to start getting interesting. The base of this thing is going to be stone brick, but I want this structure to look like it's old and kind of falling apart. So as we go higher and higher, we're going to change to cobblestone walls and just make it look like there used to be a different structure here and it started to fall down and expose some of the foundations. So I need to get some cobblestone and turn these into walls. I'll start with a whole stack. I know I'm going to need a lot, but I don't know exactly how much. Oh, and what's going to make this build super fun is I'm not going to sleep, because I've already got the phantoms spawning at night, and I don't want to ruin that by sleeping during the build where I'm trying to capture phantoms. So I'm going to also mix in some stairs and slabs, again, just to add some more variety to the way that things look. Yeah, that's starting to look good. And this part's going to be really tricky because I want some fence posts coming out of the corners of these. So the idea is it's supposed to look like these corners had support beams running through them all the way up, and the thing has started to kind of break apart and expose some of the interior supports. So yeah, that's looking good. So I'm going to do this all the way around at about this level with the outer wall, and then we'll get started on the inner wall for this thing. Okay, so this is what the outside is looking like so far. Just mixed in some stairs, some slabs, some cracked stone, because I want this thing to look old and weathered. And then out of each corner I've got just varying heights to make it look like it's naturally started to fall apart. So on the inside of this thing, we'll start about 3 blocks up. And just go all the way around with walls. And then we're just going to bring these walls up all the way around. Now I chose to use cobblestone for this because I think it looks a lot better for an interior broken apart look. Like this is sort of the, not really drywall, but the stuff inside that you built the structure out of that you didn't think you were ever going to see, but now the outside wall has started to fall apart and it's starting to expose it. So something kind of like that. And I don't know that I want to have just cobblestone walls all the way around. I want to add some variety. So at the very least, I definitely want to get some of this mossy cobblestone and make some mossy cobblestone walls. And then I might try adding in some andesite and some diorite walls. I don't know how these will look. We'll try it out. You know, I think that actually works. I think that'll look good. Just so that's some diorite walls thrown in. Definitely liking the mossy cobblestone. So the walls actually work because I think it was the 1.16 update made vertically stacked walls like connect completely. Previously there would be a little gap between them, but now we can use these stone walls and actually make a solid wall out of them. I think once I get the whole thing built, I might come in and add some windows here and there to again break up the sameness of the structure. Alright, so I'm almost up at my platform. I think I'm going to do one more level and then we'll stop. Okay, so we've built up to where our platform is going to be. So the upper platform is going to be built out of spruce, so I'll go ahead and replace these blocks up here with spruce planks now. And then I want to overhang a little bit with some slabs. So let me get a couple of slabs, and on each side I'll just add a row of slabs. I'm going to skip the corners because that'll give it sort of a rounded look from the bottom. Alright, just like that. So on top here, this is where we're going to build the trap. So where my crafting table is where we will stand. Will be exactly 15 blocks above the cat, so the phantoms will swoop down and try to attack us, and because of the cat they'll then try to flee by going straight up. So we're going to put a trap above us here, and I'm going to build that out of spruce fence posts. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, and I think one more, 4. So in each corner here I'll just go up 4. And then while we're at it, let's also put some fence posts around the outside to make sure that we don't fall off. Now before I can finish this thing, I need to go down and get some more supplies, and we haven't really built a way up and down, so that's probably the good thing to do next. So I'm not going to use a ladder or stairs or anything to get up. That's a little plebeian. We're going to go something a little bit fancier. So I'm going to knock out 2 holes, one here and here. And this will be the way we get up, and this is going to be the way that we get down. So for now, I'm just going to have to drop. So the way that we're going to get up is by using a water elevator. And the way that this is done is you put some soul sand in the ground, and then you have a bunch of water source blocks above that, and it creates this sort of bubble effect that transports you up very quickly. Now to keep the water from going everywhere, we need something on each side to hold it in place, and for that I'm going to use glass. So I'm going to start on this side, and I'm just going to go all the way up with glass. And then we'll do the same thing on this side, except for the first few blocks we're going to leave those open. And then I'll go glass all the way up past that. Alright, like so. And then I think I'm going to do some more walls right here because we need something to put some signs on. And the signs are going to keep the water from flowing out this way. Now behind this we also need some walls. And yeah, I think that'll be good. Now we need to get back up to the top and put some water all the way up at the top. And rather than just kind of nerd pulling back up, I'm going to use the water to get up there. So this is a nice trick. Put a water block all the way up as high as you can reach and then swim up. And you got to be quick here. What we're going to do is scoop up the water in our bucket and place it even higher. And we're just going to keep doing this until we get up to the top. So pick it up, scoop it, and now I can swim up a little bit higher. And I'll do this again. And I think once more should get us to the top. There we go. Okay, so that is water flowing all the way down. But there's only one water source block. All the rest of these are just flowing water. So we need to turn them into source blocks. And so the way to do that is with kelp. And we could just place a bucket of water in every single block, but that's tedious and we might miss some. And so any water block that has kelp in it immediately gets turned into a water source. So we're just going to place kelp all the way up this thing. And now all of those water blocks are water sources. And if we break the bottom one, they all come tumbling down. And now all we need to do to turn this into an elevator is place some soul sand at the very bottom. And now it will turn all those water source blocks into water bubbles. And when you go in, whoosh, you just get shot all the way up to the top. So very quick, very easy way to travel. Now coming down is going to be a little simpler. We're just going to fall, except I don't want to fall onto ground because that hurts. And I don't want to fall into water because that's kind of annoying. So we'll do something similar. We'll put some blocks there. But then we'll put a sign on this side and a sign right here. And then we can put water in that block, and the signs are actually holding it in place. So the water is just going to stay there. There's air below it. So what's going to happen is we use this to get up, and then we just fall through this hole. The water is actually going to slow us down enough so that when we pass through it and land on the ground, we take no fall damage. That's a really nice way to get down from any height and land safely without landing in a puddle of water that you then have to swim out of. Alright, now we can go back up and down and finish the top of this thing. So for the very top, I'm going to want some glass, and specifically some black glass. Unfortunately, I need 9, and you make 8 at a time, so I'm going to end up with a lot more left over than I need. Alright, so on top here, I'm going to put a slab on top of each fence post. And then I'll just put a temporary block next to one of those, and I'm going to fill the entire inside here with black glass. So in order for phantoms to spawn, there has to be a transparent block above you, like all the way above you up to the sky where they actually spawn. If there's any opaque blocks above you, including semi-transparent blocks like leaves, then they won't spawn. And so I want to fill this in so they can't swoop down above me, but it needs to be transparent, so glass does the trick. Now around this I'm going to use some spruce stairs. And so it's kind of like a really tiny dome above us. There we go. And that will be our the roof to this thing, which will keep us safe. Now, here's where the actual trap comes in. So we're going to take some fence gates. You can use any type you want. I'm going to use oak just because I want it to stand out a little bit. We've used spruce for everything else up here, so I want something that's a little bit different. And you're going to use fence gates, and you want them to be sideways going in like this. You don't want them to be facing inward like that. You want them to be sideways. And you're just going to do 3 on each side. So what's going to happen is you will stand right here in the middle during the nighttime. The phantoms will spawn above you, then they'll swoop down and try to charge at you from the side. And as soon as they get close enough to actually hit you, they'll be within range of the cat, they'll get spooked and they'll try to fly up. And the fence gates will actually trap them underneath here. And once they're trapped, you can just take them out with your sword. So since we've still got some daylight, I'm going to try to finish this off really quick. I don't want to accidentally fall through this while fighting phantoms, so I'm going to put some trap doors over these and do a little bit of decorating up here. Alright guys, I think we're done and it is nighttime, so it's time to put this thing into use. Take a look at that. So that is, yeah, I think that's what I was going for. It's sort of an old decaying tower, kind of like a lighthouse or bell tower or something. I went ahead and put a window in the side. In retrospect, I realized if the outside was falling apart and exposing some of the inside, why would there be a window? But I guess the window would have to go through both layers. I'm leaving it. I like the window. So we come in here, put a pressure plate to make sure the door closes behind us because we don't want any baddies coming in here. Now I put some trapdoors up there, so when you go through the water, you're going to get stopped at the top. That's fine. Just open the trapdoor and you pop out, close it behind you. To get down, I didn't want to leave this trapdoor open as I fell, so I put a little button there. So you just stand on the trapdoor, hit the button, fall through, and the trapdoor will close behind you. So easy ways up and down. So we'll just come up here, and I'm going to wait for some phantoms to spawn and show you how this thing works. Alright, so we've got a phantom. He's going to swoop down here, come at me, and as soon as he gets close enough, okay. So the only problem with this build is I put these fences in the corners purely for aesthetic reasons. I just like the way they look to hold up the top. The phantoms could actually hit those and they'll just immediately deflect and bounce off. So if you see one coming in at an angle, you might just kind of scoot off to the side and try to lure him in at a different angle. Alright, so this guy's going to come at me. As soon as he gets close enough, instead of hitting me, he gets scared off and tries to retreat, but he gets stuck between all these fence gates. So now it's just easy pickings. Just take him out with my sword with looting 3, and I got 2 phantom membranes. Alright, so I just finished up a night of phantom hunting, and including the ones that I previously collected while building this thing or at the beginning of the episode, I've got 12 phantom membranes. So these things are a lot harder to come by than a lot of the other potion ingredients, but well worth it. The slow falling potion is absolutely great. It's better than your feather falling boots because your feather falling boots simply reduce how much damage you take, whereas the slow falling potion makes you actually fall slower so that when you do land, you don't take any fall damage, no matter how high you fell from. So that's going to be great for having in the nether as a backup, just in case we fall from a really high height and are low on health. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this build. Those phantom membranes are really going to come in handy later with the slow falling potions. And I think after this, we're ready to go. We're ready to take on the dragon. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like it. It really helps me out, keeps me going. And if you're enjoying the series, please subscribe so that you'll get notified of future episodes as they come out. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.